State Family Justice Center serves 5 main crime types: domestic violence, child abuse, human trafficking, sexual assault, and elder abuse. We also serve youth at risk, who could be kids interfacing in the community with violence, kids who have experienced violence at home, kids who are experiencing delinquency or behavioral problems at school, or kids who just really need a place to land.
My name is Genesis. I'm 16 and I'm involved with the Girls Circle in Indio. Well, growing up, the emotional abuse that I experienced was from my grandma. She used to just make me feel bad about just being a kid. I feel like most times she just wanted me to grow up already. She used to put a lot of pressure on me. And she did give me like a lot of responsibilities, just do things I didn't really want to or didn't know how. And if I didn't know how, she wouldn't explain it to me. She would just scream or hit. She would make me feel less, make me feel like I wasn't important, make me feel like a burden. When I first heard about SAFE, I was in middle school. Through the program, I learned how to manage my emotions, right? How to deal with and understand other people's actions. I also felt like I had like a safe space to just talk about things I went through that I wasn't comfortable or felt safe with talking about it with other people in my life. I met people my age that went through the same thing, so I felt less alone. I felt like I had a purpose.
I've actually gone to see how she has blossomed to someone so much more secure than she once was.
If I never went to SAVE, my life, my mental health, everything that has to do with me would be pretty much the opposite. It would be pretty difficult. Things at home would still be pretty hard. Honestly, I wouldn't be this like confident and positive young woman. I can't even imagine my life without this support. Right before I came to SAVE, maybe 2 or 1 year before, I barely moved into the United States. I came to California, everything was new culture, new people, new language. In Colombia, you just don't have this type of support. I think everybody deserves a chance. If you had problems and stuff like that, and you didn't have the right person or people to look up to, you would have gone the wrong way. And I personally don't know anybody back in Colombia that can do this type of things, The advice that I would give to girls my age that maybe went or are going through the same thing I did, you're not alone. Even if you feel like you are, there will always be someone out there. You just gotta, get enough courage to speak up and you're gonna be okay. Also, don't try to be someone you're not. Be yourself. Don't stay quiet, okay? Even though I know it feels very scary. It feels like you're gonna get in trouble or it feels like your situation is gonna get even worse. It's a process and, at the end of the day, you're gonna be okay and they're gonna help you.
Hola, soy Cesar y estoy el día de hoy aquí porque tuve una experiencia de violencia doméstica. Yeah, I never experienced any bad experience in my life until I was in a relationship the past 2 years.
When Cesar came to us, he felt very alone because of being a male. The stigma is there.
Yo salí del closet cuando tenía 18 años. Me junté con una persona. Mi última experiencia con mi pareja fue muy desagradable y fue por la razón en la que recurrí a SAFE.
It wasn't just the partner providing that level of abuse. There were other members that were also involved in it.
Desde el momento que abrí la puerta, me trataron como parte de la familia. Me han guiado, me han aconsejado y me han apoyado en todo el transcurso desde cortes, trámites, hasta el día de hoy. Mi relación pasada fue un poco fuerte, violencia doméstica, y ellos me han ayudado mucho a salir, a superar emocionalmente, físicamente. Creo que es bueno que la gente sepa de que no estamos solos, de que no importa tu orientación sexual, tu estatus migratorio, siempre hay una mano amiga con Safe. En la situación en la que yo me encontré, muchas personas también la están. Se quedan estancados. Yo al principio me sentí estancado. Me he sentido muy apoyado y poco a poco es que he ido saliendo de la situación en la que estaba.
Just seeing him get that inner strength and be able to step out and state what he wanted out of his life. Just that empowerment is what really touches me about Cesar.
Me sorprendí al saber de que había una organización que apoyaba también a los hombres. No es muy común ver a un hombre sufrir violencia doméstica por parte de tu pareja. El apoyo que me dieron es totalmente asombroso porque yo no creía que habría una asociación donde también apoyaran a los hombres. Es una asociación hermosa, una asociación que te hace sentir como familia. Habemos hombres, pasamos situaciones fuertes y nos quedamos callados. Como comunidad LGBT también tenemos derechos y es importante que los conozcamos. Es importante que nos informemos y SAFE es una asociación que nos tiende una mano. Es importante que la gente conozca y done a este programa. Thanks to all the people who's behind this project. Without you guys, I'd be probably be lost.
My name's Monique Hernandez, and I'm a survivor of domestic violence. I have 4 children, 2 adult children that live on their own, and 2 teenagers that are in my home. Growing up, both of my parents were active gang members, both on alcohol and drugs. When I was 2, my dad stabbed my mom and almost killed her. My dad was not present, he was in prison, and my mom just had multiple relationships and domestic violence was a part of each. Growing up, I was abused mentally and physically. I was molested, I was neglected, left home alone a lot, and, out on my own at 11 years old. I started running the streets young, and I ended up with a child at 14 years old. And I said I needed to make a change, a difference for her. I didn't want her to grow up like I grew up. So living in LA, we moved to Riverside County. I met someone and got pregnant, and it wasn't a planned pregnancy. I met my late husband at work and had 2 more children. And he taught me what love was. He showed me the love and support that I needed. I had never experienced that. And sadly, when my youngest was 6 months, he passed away from a heart attack. After my husband passed away, I quit my job and I was single for 9 years, taking care of 4 kids and a grandchild, and decided the kids were old enough, I was going to start dating again. I met a guy I was dating for over a year and a half. He began to be physically and mentally abusive, and I broke things off. He didn't accept the breakup. He was stalking me, showing up to places, doctor's appointments, therapy, everywhere I was. He broke into my house several times. And the last time he broke into my home, he came to kill me. He had me at knife point, and by the grace of God, I was able to escape. He was arrested, and that's the start of me getting to know the State Family Justice Center. I went to court and I was scared. I've never been through this process. So we were in a room and we were just casually talking, and I felt really comfortable with her, and I opened up because all the abuse that had been happening, nobody knew about. And I just started telling her, and she took me by the hand and drove me to the State Family Justice Center in Marietta. I was nervous. I was afraid. I didn't know what was going to happen. When I told him, all the abuse that was happening, he asked me if I had went to the hospital, and I said that I wasn't allowed to. And he said, well, it's not a secret anymore. We all know, so you're able to. And for some reason, him saying that gave me permission to tell my truth. But not only about that, but about my childhood. I was given the 10-week domestic violence class, which was eye-opening because even at this point, I still felt guilty, and I think that comes from my childhood. I knew that there was physical abuse. I didn't know mental, financial, all the abuse I didn't know, but I had experienced all of that. After your situation, you're just kind of left there to pick up the pieces. But with therapy, with the women's aftercare from the Safe Family Justice Center, it helps you. You know you're not alone. There's other women that are going through the same thing that you're going through, and that it's going to be okay. So when the abuse was happening, the kids were never present. He would do things when they were at school, not around. So my son started fighting a lot in school. He was always angry and upset. He wanted to go down the path of a gang member. He started dressing and trying to play the part, and I said, absolutely not. He was never exposed to any gangs, so I didn't know where that was coming from, but I think it was the anger because he wasn't able to protect me. I was working with him, the school was working with him, PAL program was working with him. I arrived early at the Halloween event that Safe Family Justice Center was having for the kids. And my son, who had been fighting and causing trouble, angry, was running around in a hot dog costume. And I hadn't seen that in a very long time. And I knew the program was really helping my son. And that he could just be a kid. It's important for the Safe Family Justice Center to be able to provide these services to other families like mine. The resources, before the situation, I didn't know any of this exists. And I just want to thank everyone so much for making it possible for me and my children and other families, because without your donations, without you, none of this would have been possible.